Welcome to Kung Fu Effort number 2. Got the computer going, so we're going to do that. So first and foremost, this is a special video. This is a double thank you video. The first thank you is that there's 337 of you guys here, so I've gained 2 people since the last time I had the option to look. I was going through my videos and I found some comments. This is the second. Thank you. I want to thank you to, I'm going to butcher your names. So let me get this right. I'm going to spell them out because I can't pronounce them correctly. I'm going to attempt to correctly spell them, say them first, then I'll spell them out. So first I want to thank Juka 713. I'm going to spell that. That little A thing, Juka 713. Thank you. And I want to thank the A Jill Wizzy. I'm going to spell that. That little A thing, lowercase G L E, I fucked that up, I'm sorry, GELWEEZIE. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you very much. In case everybody else is wondering, they defended me for a guy, Lil Mantroy or something. And I'm not mad at Lil Mantroy. I understand. Everybody's life experience is different. So I'm not going to clap back at you, buddy. I'm not going to do that. I'm 50 years old. Here's that thing about growing up. First, again, thank you to the 2 names that I butchered. Juka 713. Thank you. And Jill Wizzy. I'm sure I fucked y'all names up. I apologize profusely for that. But I thank you. Nobody ever really defends me in life other than myself. So thank you. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. Now, back to little man Toy, man. The guy who told me to grow up. I've been a grown man since I was 7 years old. I never really got the chance to be a kid until summertime with my father. I've spent the bulk of my 50 years on this earth taking care of other people's fucking lack of responsibility. I have one older sibling who also has a similar story. She never had the chance to be a child. We never had the chance to be a child due to our mom's mistakes and our father's mistakes. Now, my mom has made more mistakes than my father because there's 7 of us and I am the second of 7. My father only has 4 kids. 2 with my mom, my older sister and myself, and my 2 younger brothers before my mom had other kids with another person. Alright, that's way too much information. But we've had to take care of these other kids who grew up to have other kids with useless pieces of space. So we didn't get to be kids. We didn't get to do too much dating because we were taking care of other people's lack of fucking responsibility. Which is why I'm not mad at you. Because you probably had sunshines and rainbows growing up. You see my skin tone? I am a mixed person. I have been bullied all my life. So a little bit of internet bullying, I'm not worried about that. I also know that the title of this YouTube channel is called Kung Fu Havoc number 2. And when we are all doing the keyboard warrior thing, you know, it's a whole lot easier for me to say things to you badly on this side of the screen, knowing full bloody well that you don't know where I live and I can't come see you man to man. Unless you are a woman, then maybe we can date. But anyway, here's the thing. Before you ever insult people, you should think, what has this person been through? It took me a little long in life to catch a hold of why people do the things that they do. It took a little bit. I learned in my 20s and 30s that only some people have a privileged life where they don't have to take care of other people's lack of responsibility, where their siblings aren't going around riding dicks and getting pregnant every time you turn around. Your life gets another fucking loop that you gotta jump through because somebody had a baby with somebody that they shouldn't have had a baby with, and that person has left them high and dry like the Maury Povich show. Okay? So I'm not mad at you. I ain't even gonna remotely be mad at you. By the way, my third action figure is coming tomorrow. So I'll make a video about it. But here's that thing. I still have all of my G.I. Joes. G.I. Joe, Transformers, and these Marvel Legends had kept me from unaliving myself a lot. Mass Effect Andromeda, Mass Effect has kept me from unaliving myself. And in case you don't know, my problems didn't get really, really bad until I joined the military, which brought all my real problems to the surface, which I also owe Dr. Bishop my life. So me being mad at you for telling me to grow up when I've been grown since I was 7 years old. I've also, excuse me, I've also been a lifetime martial artist since I was 7 years old. Do you know why? Because back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I was born in 73. So by the time I was 6 years old, my uncles, some who served in the military, some who did not, and only on my mama's side, used to make me go to childhood street fights. From the age of 6 to the age of 12, I was forced to fight as a child for their entertainment. So here's that thing about growing up. How can you tell me to grow up when I was already grown before I was fucking 7 years old? I didn't get a say. I couldn't beat my uncles, and they worked on fear. Because all of my uncles on my mom's side is well over 6 feet tall. And it was, you beat him or we beat you. Let that sink in while you're judging me for fucking action dolls. Yeah, those things right there keep people like me from killing ourselves. Because if you remember the scene from Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson tells Danny Glover that there's not a day that goes by where he doesn't think about eating a bullet. Yeah, that's people like me. People who have been told we ain't shit, we're worthless, we don't deserve to be breathing your air. I'm a mixed person who grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Do you know how many times a white person has told me that I am a half-breed, and since I'm half black, we can't have you on our kickball team. We don't want you with us because you're going to go tell those N-words all of our fucking secrets. And on the flip side of that, so for the people who think that black people can't be racist, try again. Do you know how many black people have told me, we don't want you on our kickball team because you're part white. And you're going to go tell those H-words all of our secrets. And then it got worse because a teacher in the 5th grade clocked me for being Native American because I am also part Native American. I am triracial. And then I had to go through the shit that Sanford & Son produced with Juan Julio, who's actually Taino, which is also the first natives that Columbus encountered and unalived and destroyed, mangled, and raped some of the young girls at 12 and sent their asses over to England and some other shit to be slaves. I had to be called Julio. I had people asking me where the fuck was my goat. I don't even have a goat. I'm also not Puerto Rican. I'm also not Taino. I have gone through so much childhood trauma. These were my only friends. Comic books and toys. But I never got the chance to be a child. Those were my escapes. Those were the only things keeping me from finding a way to unalive myself. Which also, since I was a child, I had been attempting to do. The final straw was in my 30s. And as a martial artist, I forgot the golden rule that if you really get good at martial arts, your body will protect itself. I was planning on going to Canada. And I was going to unalive myself by going to start a fight in a Canadian bar with the biggest, baddest motherfucker that ever was. The unfortunate part was I met my ex-fiance, who gave me a reason to live. Had 2 good years. And then I wanted to die again because she broke up with me for no fucking reason. I had my hopes and dreams based in this broad. I hope she's well. So then, I did the only thing that a reasonable person could do who wanted to die. I signed up for the United States Army National Guard. because I aged out of the actual Army. I was 37 years old. Nothing was going to stop me from joining the military unless I died before then. Got in the military, got infantry, got a new hip, didn't get deployed. I'm not a combat vet, but I got all the fucking training in the universe, which is kind of fucked up because I had better training before I got into boot camp. So if you don't go to SF school or sniper school, your combatives really aren't that damn effective. If you don't have Green Beret training, real Green Beret training, your combat isn't all that effective. And let me tell you before we go any further, when I was 16 years old, working at Kegler's, which is a bowling alley, mostly surrounded by rednecks and racists, I had been taught how to kill people with my finger by a Green Beret, which is something that would come back later to make me think, yeah, you know, the Army's not a bad place. I love the Army. I have two uncles, one on my mom's side, one on my dad's side. My dad's brother passed away just like my other uncle on my dad's side. So all three of my people on my dad's side have passed. My Uncle Robert Henry was in the Army. My Uncle Bruce was not in the Army. My dad was not in the Army. However, we do have a new uncle that we found out, which is my Uncle Bryson. Shout out to my Uncle Bryson. On my mom's side, two of her brothers were Navy. One was in the Army. They taught me some shit. Old school shit. 60s and 70s martial art combat tactics and how to kill someone with your itty bitty pinky finger. So that's the real training. I got none of that shit when I went to Fort Benning. I got Taekwondo and I got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I suck at. But I'm really good with Taekwondo because I already knew Taekwondo. Because I actually could beat black belts with Taekwondo. Because a fight in a dojo ain't the same as a fight in the street. Do you not know the title of this channel? It's called Kung Fu Havoc #2. Every now and again, I switch things up. Like Monologue Mondays, which will be coming back, by the way. I do some action figure shit. I could have made this whole channel about my G.I. Joe collection. Because I still have them. Oh, my Playmates, Turtles, and my Toy Biz, X-Men, and Spider-Man collection. No. I do Kung Fu. It is what I do. It is what I am. It is all that I am. And before that, I was a suicidal child who was forced to fight in fighting rings. I refuse to let any child fight. Any child. So that they don't become like me. So growing up, I've never had it easy. Ever. It didn't find out to get any better when my siblings that are younger than me, that are female, found out what the fuck their vaginas could do. Popping out babies after babies after babies. Only one sibling actually did it right, because she's the youngest and she actually got married. She and her husband are still together till this day. They have 4 children. The 1-year-old terrorist is always kicking my ass. He is the evilest child that she's had. I can tell you that because I've had to take care of them. Even with my hip replacement, which I'm in need of another hip replacement, which means I have to lose 10 pounds really fucking soon. They want me back down to 130. And I'm at 140. I'm at my military weight. And I want to get back up to my military weight, but stress eating caused that. And so, again, I'm not mad at you. But I will ask you morally. You should probably think before you speak. Because you don't know what someone else has gone through. Which is exactly why I am not mad at you. You want me to grow up? I'm giving you a grown-up conversation right now. I've been through more hell in 45 years than most people have been in 10. So the good news is I've never been molested. Right? That I can recall. I've never been molested. I haven't been molested by family. I technically could say I've been molested by a 12-year-old girl when I was 10. Because I lost my virginity to her. Right? That was a thing. I thought she broke my dick. I literally thought she broke my dick because the bitch wouldn't stop getting hard. Still functions. But the problem is, you know, when you're growing up, you don't know this shit. Because in the colored community, it's rarely spoken of, you know. You hear about kids in my day getting kidnapped by white dudes and white vans. You heard about Adam Walsh. I grew up in that era. Adam Walsh was in Florida. Him and I roughly would be the same age. I'm probably a year or two older than what Adam Walsh would be if he was here today. which is why America's Most Wanted was very important, which is why everything that John Walsh do is very important. Because there are people out here who didn't live to get to be where we are. And you should be thankful for every breath that we are allowed to take. Every breath. Every breath. Even the bad breath from teachers with coffee breath. I have spent the bulk of my life helping people. Never being a child. No one has really stood up for me like Juka 713 and Jill Weezy. Jill Weezy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm never going to get your names right, but thank you. Thank you so fucking much. In middle school, I was bullied. One of my teachers made me write 100 times because I called the kid a bundle of sticks. A very bad word for the alphabet community. Starts with an F and ends with a G. He was a karate guy just like me, and he did some shit, pissed me off, and I called him by the wrong thing. That teacher I did not know at the time was a member of the alphabet community. As I grown up, I understood why he made me write that shit. But I'm also a very short man at 5'3.5". I'm the biggest target when I walk into a room, when I walk into a bar, when I go anywhere that huge people are because they watch too much TV. And they think because they see a small guy that they can beat his ass because of his size. Don't let your size lead you to the hospital or the morgue because you're over 6 feet. I've studied various forms of martial arts, and I tell people I have a couple of rules. If you're 6 foot and below, Kung Fu is the way to go. If you're 6 foot and above, some Kung Fu does not show you love. This is why you should stick to certain things like karate and taekwondo, where you can use your body to its advantage versus its disadvantage. The name of the channel is called Kung Fu Havoc #2. Because when it comes to martial arts, a lot of people don't follow me for my martial arts because a lot of people don't like the truth. If you go watch a couple of my videos, you see me fighting with my hands tied, but frying my back and in front of me. Because I will teach you this shit that works versus the shit that does not work. I will constantly remind you that the shit you see on TV ain't how it works in real life. Most fights don't last more than 3 to 5 minutes. A lot of people, they go watch an action movie. Yeah, fights like 10% of the movie. So there's the fight where the hero gets his ass kicked, and there's the redemption fight. And then there's some mediocre scrimmages in between. Go back and watch some of those Van Damme movies and Seagal movies, and you'll see what I'm saying. Except for Van Damme really only got his ass kicked in Double Impact because it was mistaken identity. But for the most parts, unless you watch a Bruce Lee fight or a Chuck Norris fight, where Bruce and Chuck have never lost on camera. Alright? But if you're watching those fights, you know automatically they're like the best of the best of the very best in the movie. They're not going to lose because they're the star. In more modern day fights, the hero get their ass kicked somewhere in the fight, and then the hero gets some booty and gets like super strong and goes to beat people's ass. And sometimes doesn't even get booty. Sometimes doesn't even get his ass kicked. It's just like they keep walking away from a fight until they can't. No, which is what most martial artists will tell you. Walk away from a fight until you can't. And in some cases, like in my case, because I'm so fucking small, sometimes you can't. And in most of the times, I couldn't. Back when my father caught me beating up a guy when I was 12. It was the last fight that I had ever been in until I was 15. Alright? Now, he didn't know that my uncles and them were making me fight because my dad lived 3 hours away in a town called Smithfield. I live in Charlottesville. My dad was working us in the child support money, which I also wasn't really getting. Alright? Everybody else was getting it, but I wasn't getting it. So, my uncles and them had a fight, and I had to go fight the kid. And my dad showed up to pick me up for the summertime, and he snatched me off the guy by the tuft of my neck, like a cat carrying a kitten. And he's like, boy, if I ever see you fighting again, it better be in self-defense purposes. From then on, I didn't fight anybody again until I was 15. And then I turned 15, I had to fight 4 fights in 1 week. Monday and Tuesday I had a fight. Wednesday was my day off. Thursday and Friday I had a fight. And after that, I didn't fight again until I was like maybe 16 or 17 when I got jumped on my job by two white cats that I had showed their friends some shit, and they got a set of balls and decided they were going to attack me on my fucking job. They had nothing better to do. After that, I didn't get into any more fights. Now, before that fight, when we first moved from the projects over to where we currently are, I had gotten into a fight with another guy who was a big black guy who would not let me leave the park. I went to the park. I took the dog to the park. I took the dog home. We just moved there. My family had been there for 2 weeks. I didn't know because, apparently we left the projects, and I had cussed out the last security guard at the projects before he died. I came down to the park. New playground, shit we've never seen before because we lived in the ghetto, and we had ghetto playground. We had a fucked up ass seesaw. We had a set of swings, and we had monkey bars. That's it. We had a big children's park and a little children's park. Shout out to West Haven, aka the projects, Charlottesville, Virginia. Got down there to the park down here in Rougemont, explored a little bit, looked at the water, walking out the park. This big guy, leaving his name off. We became friends after that, just like the big guy in the last fight I had in the projects. We became friends after that too. I stepped to the right, he stepped to his left. And I slightly said, yo man, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to go home. He looked me dead in the face and laughed because he was like 6'2" and I was 5'1". I said it again. I stepped to my left, he stepped to his right. Trying to get away from the guy, trying to avoid the fight. He laughed again and proceeded to tell me that he owns Rougemont and everything and everyone on Rougemont. And I proceeded to tell him, look, I don't give a fuck what you do, own, or whatever. I just moved here. I don't want to hurt you, and I'm going home. And he wouldn't let me go home. So first, I put him in a chokehold, this way, using my weakest arm as the base, and using this arm to cut off his air. I put my knees in his motherfucking back, and we hit the concrete. Because he went to grab me, and I got behind him, and I started choking him the fuck out. I let him go. That was mistake number 1 on me. And I told him, I'm going home. This dumb son of a bitch jumped right back up, and we're at it again. So now, I got my strongest arm. Same fucking chokehold. Knees in his back. And I told him, again, I'm going home. If we do this one more time, I'm going to fucking kill you. He didn't want to hear that shit because he was bigger. So he thought he was a bad motherfucker. And I let him go. Mistake number 2 on me. And this is why I say I don't make this mistake ever the fuck again. I tried to go home again. He went to grab me again. And this time I put him in this hole. His neck's in this little hole. And I started tightening up. And I said, this time you die. Because here's that thing. I gave you 2 fucking opportunities to leave me alone and you wouldn't. But because you thought you were big and you thought you were a badass, now you got my knees in your back and you're about to fucking die. So I'm getting this hole as small as I can around his neck. This is the Cobra Clutch. So you slide your arm down and you slide your arm up and his little neck be in that little hole. And I got my knees in his back. And he's drooling on me this time. And I said, nah, see, I gave you your motherfucking 2 chances to walk the fuck away. But you wouldn't. Because you're a big guy. You just think that you can beat everybody because you're big. Well, here's that thing. David killed Goliath with 1 rock. I don't believe in killing unless I have to. But if I give you 3 chances to walk the fuck away, the first chance is the time you should probably go. See, a lot of people look at me because I'm small, because I'm mixed, and now because I'm old, they think, oh, he can't do shit. The name of this YouTube channel is called Kung Fu Havoc number 2. So understand something. Me getting mad at you for telling me to grow up, dude, I'm not mad. I've been through so much shit. There's not even a smile on my face. Now, if I start smiling, we have issues. But we're good. I have been through more shit in the 50 years that I've been on Earth than most people. Why do I not share it here? No need. I'm here to build my acting career. That's it. I'm also here to get friends. I have 337 of you beautiful people who give me the time of day to let me keep going. You don't judge me for cosplay. You don't judge me for toys. You don't judge me for being mixed. And I try to drop gems. Granted, I try to stay out of the political shit, but some political people don't make it easy. I'm a veteran of the United States Army National Guard. I have not been deployed. I have an honorable discharge. I have a metal shard in my ass with an extra ball and a chip to make sure that my leg fucking functions. This one here that I'm leaning on. I can't sit down for more than 2 hours. Ever. I have a rough time sleeping because I can only sleep so long on my back and then I roll over. And I can only sleep so long on my dick and then I roll back over. I toss and turn almost every night. I get some sleep. It's enough to function. But, like I said, I've been through some shit. I had a channel, Kung Fu Havoc #1. And a kid did the same thing you did. Only come to find out that it wasn't a kid. His dad got on there and called me gay. I'm not gay. I have nothing against the alphabet community. I don't date within the alphabet community. I have 2 family members that are part of the alphabet community who I will put an arrow through anybody's chest if they try to hurt them. Yes, the bow is over there. It's always close by. And there's an axe in the dresser at my feet. I am a right fighter. I will fight to defend you if we're in the same spot, unless I find out you started the fight. I had this conversation with one of my younger brothers, the one from my mother, not the 2 from my father, and I said, look, as long as you don't start the fight, I got you. But if you start the fight, you better finish the fight. And don't get me involved in some shit that you started. So yeah, I need to grow up. Been grown since I was 7 years old. Never, ever truly got the chance to be a child unless I was with my father in the summertime. And there were summers where he couldn't come get me because he was poor and he was broke and he didn't have money to support me and him and feed me and him. And he was in between jobs. I wanted to move in with my father when I was 15. However, prior to being 15, when I was 14 and when I was 13, we talked to the schools and they wanted me to repeat the 4th grade again after I had already repeated it twice. No. So we decided that I'm going to graduate from high school in Charlottesville where I don't have to fucking go to the 4th grade for a 3rd fucking time in Smithville because they didn't think that I was smart enough to do the damn 5th grade. And this is a small town at the time. The only big thing about that, if you worked at the packing plant, Waltney, that was like really the only major income. Most people who worked in Smithville, they worked for the big white people in the big white facilities, which was Gwaltney and some other place. They're all together in the packing plant, but they have different sections. And then if you didn't work there, you worked at the shipyard in Newport News, which is like 45 to an hour drive from Smithville. So yeah, me getting angry at someone telling me to grow up. But I will say this to you, little man Troy. Thank you. Because as they say in TikTok, I will say to you, your biggest fans are the people who hate you. Because if you're still watching and you're a hater, you're secretly a fan. So thank you for hating me, telling me that I need to grow up. However, most importantly, thank you to Juka713 and Jill Weezy. I will put y'all names in the comments. I mean the title, because I can't say your names worth shit. But thank you to all 3 of you. Thank you to the 2 guys or girls. I'm not sure what your genders are, but thank you for defending me. And thank you, little mantroy, for hating me. Because see, opposition is a good thing. You may not think it is. You may think you were doing something with there. But you're helping me. Because your hate in the comments actually got me some defenders. And more importantly, most people don't even comment on my videos. which is why none of my shit's ever gonna go viral. But I'm not here for anything other than my acting career and to make beautiful friends with beautiful people like Juka713 and Jill Weezy. I will put your names in the titles because I'm sure I butchered them, and I do humbly apologize for that. Lil Mantroy, thank you for giving me video content to make. Much love to the three of you, and I'm Howdy 5000. I have a story to type. Plus, some people came in, and I know they see my goddamn lights. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2. B, C, and U. Yeah, I wrote your names and stuff down. The second that I saw your comments, I had to make this video to thank you. Because most people don't make videos to thank people who follow them. And as I said before, as much as I can until I get signed, or unless the good Lord takes me out of here, I try to make thank you videos for the 337 people that follow me. Every time I get a new number, if I get the chance to check it, yes, that's my deodorant is fucking tripping or something. Or maybe I need to shave my underarms. Yeah, I shave them, as most professional athletes do. I try to make a thank you video for the numbers when the numbers grow. So, this was just a double whammy. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the 2 people who rescued me in the comments. I much greatly love and appreciate y'all. And the guy that caused the problem. Thank you for the content. Thank you very much. Anyway, I love you guys. Be seeing you. I got some typing to do. Thanks for watching. I'm Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2. Be seeing you. Oh yeah, I know you guys are probably wondering why I always say be seeing you. So, if you don't know, I'll give you my catchphrase actually belongs to Enzo Matrix. There was an episode of Reboot, and Enzo got knocked out by a golf ball. But the last thing he said at the end of it was be seeing you. It kind of goes with Kung Fu Havoc number 2. They kind of rhyme together. My name is Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2, be seeing you. It's kind of a rhyme. But yeah, Enzo Matrix was one of my favorite characters in Reboot when he became Matrix versus when he was Enzo and he was always plowing Bob over. I have one more story to tell you, and I'll do it in the second video, which will be the 4th video for tonight. But I am going to make it now since we're talking about it. You might actually like it. So thank you guys for watching it.